Hello students, this is my second lecture on microelectronics technology of analog electronics 2 which comes in your fourth semester. I hope you have already seen my previous video lectures on this topic. In this lecture I will discuss the oxidation process, which is another very important step for the IC fabrication in monolithic process. Oxidation. It is an important step for the IC fabrication process carried out after the epitaxial growth. It is a simple way to grow silicon dioxide layer over the silicon epitaxial layer. SiO2, that is silicon dioxide, is an insulator. That is, the SiO2 layer is an insulating layer which actually provides insulation between the two devices so that they may not be shorted together. This is very important in IC fabrication. Now, broadly, oxidation can be classified or can be carried out in two different ways. Or these are the classifications of oxidation. Number 1 is chemical oxidation. This is also called anodic oxidation. And number 2 is thermal oxidation. Thermal oxidation is more commonly used, that is preferred over chemical oxidation. Specifically because thermal oxidation incorporates less contamination to the grown oxide layer. That is, comparatively gives us a pure oxide layer in comparison to chemical oxidation. This is mainly because thermal oxidation does not require any hard chemical reaction, and a high purity inert atmosphere or environment is maintained within the oxidation furnace. So, incorporation, that is the addition of any contamination, is not at all possible to take place within the oxidation furnace. Moreover, in the oxidation furnace, the walls of the furnace are actually kept cold. Though the temperature inside the furnace is quite high, is quite elevated, the walls are kept cold. Why? It is because if there will be any gaseous contamination inside the furnace, and these contaminations when come in contact with the oxidation furnace cold wall, they becomes solidified and rest or stick there. Here in this figure you can see the picture of an oxidation furnace. The wafers are placed on the quartz board. As I already told you that quartz, which is a material, consisted of silicon and oxygen. In the figure, through the inlet, you can see the gas inlet, and through this inlet, either oxygen or water vapor enters the oxidation furnace and chemically reacts with silicon wafers to form silicon dioxide on the silicon surface. Also note, there is a gas outlet through which the remaining residual gas goes out of the oxidation furnace. In the figure, you also see the heaters are placed outside the either sides of the furnace. The heaters are actually used to increase the temperature inside the furnace above 1000 degrees centigrade, and the chemical reactions to form the silicon dioxide layer take place at such elevated temperature. I suggest you to draw this picture on your copy and also to note down the important points on oxidation. Here you can see the chemical reactions which take place while heating the wafer as a whole at 1000 degrees centigrade or above for dry oxidation, that is which takes place in pure oxygen atmosphere, and wet oxidation which takes place by using water vapor as the oxidizing agent. Now, for oxidizing species to react with silicon, because to form silicon dioxide, the oxidizing species, that may be oxygen or water vapor, has to react with the silicon. There may be following possibilities. Number one, the oxidation species diffuse through the existing silicon dioxide layer. Diffuse means moves through. Species move through the existing silicon dioxide layer to reach the silicon dioxide silicon interface. Interface means the boundary line between the silicon dioxide and silicon interface. Now, on reaching the interface, that is the boundary between the silicon dioxide and silicon, oxygen molecules chemically react with silicon to form silicon dioxide. Now the second possibility is that silicon atoms may diffuse through, that is move through the silicon dioxide layer to reach the surface where they react with the oxygen molecules and finally forming the SiO2 layer. Now you can see in this figure that in thermal oxidation how the oxygen is forming the silicon dioxide layer. In the figure, the grey colored material is the silicon substrate we have actually taken, as I already told you. Above which, that is above the silicon substrate, there is a green layer. That particular green layer is the growing silicon dioxide layer, which is grown above the epitaxial layer. You can see oxygen, that is dry oxygen. Keep in mind, as I already told you, that oxidation can be carried out in two different types. First one, you must know also that oxidation can be carried out in two different types. First one is by using oxygen, that is called the dry oxidation, and the second one by using water vapor, H2O, which is called wet oxidation. So you can see in this figure that dry oxygen, O2, and H2O, that is water vapor, is diffusing, that is either one. That is either we have to use oxygen or we have to use water vapor. Is diffusing from the gas into the silicon layer and chemically reacts with silicon and therefore forming silicon dioxide. Now you can see two chemical reactions in the gray region, that is written in the gray region. The first equation is for the dry oxidation, where silicon plus O2 forming SiO2, and the second one is for wet oxidation, where silicon plus H2O forming SiO2, silicon dioxide, plus hydrogen gas. Here you can see the plot of the concentration of oxidizing species, that is oxygen for dry oxidation and water vapor H2O for the wet oxidation in the gas as a function of or versus distance. Distance means along the overall thickness of the sample, that is consisting of the substrate and the epitaxial layer, and on the top of it we are now having the SiO2 layer. Starting from the left side, that is from the left side of the graphical plot, first you can see the gas region, that is the oxidizing species inside the gas region. The second region, that is the middle region, is the oxide region, that is the SiO2 layer forming over the silicon substrate. And the extreme rightmost region, it is actually the silicon region, which is consisted of the epitaxial layer and the substrate. Moreover, you should note here that there are different concentrations and fluxes. Gas fluxes are mentioned here. Just note down on your copy that CO is the concentration of the oxidizing species inside the oxide layer, and the first one, Cg, is the concentration of the oxidizing species, that may be oxygen or water vapor. As I already told you, Cg is the concentration of the oxidizing species in the gas, and thirdly, Cs is the concentration of the oxidizing species in the silicon. Now you should also note that F1, F2 and F3 are three different fluxes. Fluxes means these are the gas fluxes. Oxidation kinetics. In the figure, I just shown you F1, F2 and F3 are the fluxes of the oxidizing species in three different regions. The three different regions were gas from the left side. Try to recall the left side. From the left side, the region was gas, the middle region was silicon dioxide, and the third region, that is the rightmost region, was silicon. That is the silicon which is consisted of the substrate and the epitaxial layer. Both are silicon. Now, what is flux? Flux actually measures the flow of volatile gas from a specific location and compares it with the background emissions. What does it mean? That is, if the oxygen is moving, if we are carrying out dry oxidation, then if the oxygen is moving from the first location, that is from the gas mixture to the epitaxial layer surface, over the epitaxial layer SiO2 layer will be formed, then the flux is proportional to the difference of concentration of oxygen in the gas mixture from which it is moving, from where it is moving, and the concentration in the epitaxial surface. That is the difference of the two concentrations. Just for knowledge, remember that these fluxes, as they actually defined, or they can be used to define the kinetics of oxidation. Kinetics actually means movement of oxidizing species from one region to the other, and also helps us to understand how practically the SiO2 layer is forming on the epitaxial layer or on the silicon. Let us now summarize the whole process or see the important points on oxidation. Firstly, in thermal oxidation, the silicon wafers after the epitaxial growth are placed in the oxidation furnace on quartz board, as I already told you, and the temperature inside the oxidation furnace is increased approximately to 1000 degrees centigrade or above 1000 degrees centigrade, and the gas mixture containing the oxidizing species is passed over the wafers to form the oxide layer. Now, I must tell you that silicon has very high oxygen affinity. That is, silicon gets oxidized very easily. The second point is, if pure oxygen is used, then the type of oxidation, as I already told you before, that then the type of oxidation will be dry oxidation. But if the oxidizing species or agent is water vapor, H2O, then it is wet oxidation. The third point is, and you should know it, that the thickness of the oxide layer. Now, the thickness of the oxide layer is not a fixed one, though it should be kept very thin. However, one may vary the thickness. Now, how can we vary the thickness of the oxide layer? The thickness of the oxide layer depends upon the duration or time required for oxidation and the temperature at which the oxidation is carried out. Besides this, the thickness of the oxide layer also depends or can be controlled by controlling the concentration of the oxidizing agent in the gas mixture. Moreover, the thickness can also be controlled by controlling the diffusion coefficient of the oxide layer formed. That is, larger the diffusion coefficient, that is, more easily the oxidizing species can move through the oxide layer, the faster the oxidizing agent or the species moves through the oxide layer and reacts with the silicon, more will be the thickness of the oxide layer. Now, by adjusting the gas flow rate or by mixing inert gases with oxygen or water vapor, the oxidation can be done in a much controlled manner. Now, after all this, I must tell you that this oxidation is an experimental process and carried out in well-equipped, controlled environment. So, as you have gathered a basic knowledge on oxidation, so now try to write a short note on or try to explain the oxidation process by yourself. So I hope you have understood the techniques. You can consult the referred books. Okay, thank you.